logo that I have in that DPS folder. That motherfucker's 30 gigs.
And we are live. Damage Per Second podcast, episode 192. This is for y'all listening. Y'all hearing some real stuff right now. So Forte, please explain the reason why you still ain't collaborated with me on the new things we want to do with the show for the past 6 months. Say that again.
Because I have been very lackadaisical.
You've been lazy.
In the way that I wanted to be. No, not
you've been lazy.
I guess. Yep.
Lazy.
Been very lazy.
Just as long as you can acknowledge that at the very least.
I've never had a chance. I've never had a problem ever acknowledging anything.
It said the Forte is low. Gregor says Forte is low. I mean, let me.
Why am I low? Let me look at my thing. I should be not low. I can turn my thing up. I
turned them up in Discord.
No,
Gregor?
Turn that shit back down. Cause I'm about to turn it up here. I'm about to turn it up 10 dB.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. This is y'all getting the real, okay? This will be the realest DPS podcast ever.
Mom and Dad podcast show for episode 192.
Because SloMo is fed up. Fed up backslap is what I am today.
Is that what you about to change?
Because I'm tired. I'm tired. You know what's how you spell tired? Yeah, whatever the spelling is for tired is what I am, because I'm tired of waiting on Forte to do things he said he was going to do. 6 months now. We like 6 months and going. Huh?
Sounds like an Akon song.
Well, we're gonna be singing Akon until you actually do what you say you're going to do. Anyway, shout out to Arcade in the house, Spider 13, Capono, and Gregor Von Doom. Gregor says old is short for tired. I don't think that's the case. I think this is a LAZY issue, and that's what we need to.
You are not allowed to talk stuff about my co-host. That man is a jewel to this world, and if he say he tired, he tired.
Don't try that. You trying to get on my good side.
It's not hard to get on your good side. You're not a hardy. You soft as hell, just like Cottonelle. But still, I got to make you feel good every once in a while. Are you trying to compute what I just said?
No, I computed. I'm trying not to go there. Is what I'm trying not to do.
You just said this is the realest podcast we ever gonna do.
Forte, tell us about your lazy ass week.
Well, I worked every day. Well, no, I had Tuesday, Wednesday off. But I slept a lot, and then on top of that, I worked the whole time. I slept a lot, dude. Because I worked. Let me see, from my last off day last week, which was Thursday. I worked open to close on Friday, open to close on Saturday or Friday, open to close on Sunday, open to close on Monday, half the day on Tuesday, did an inventory that night. And mind you, I did this all by myself because one of my associates requested a week off because their friend was coming in, and I just didn't want to call him into work and tell him he had to come to work, so I just let him stay off. Another one had COVID last week, and then my last one, he only works the weekend. He's supposed to work the weekend with me. He had like a stomach bug, and I didn't want to have him. You know, I try not to have people work. I kind of put a lot of stuff on myself and just deal with it myself. So I was like burnt out. That's kind of why I do nothing this week. I didn't play games this week. I didn't if it required me getting off of a chair while I was off or not sitting on the couch, I didn't do it. Oh, I do take the back. I cleaned out gutters. That was something. It's hot as heck outside, so I cleaned all our gutters out. So that's probably the only, I would say, productive thing I did all week. I did go see the Alien movie. My aunt surprised me because she knows that's my favorite franchise, and she's the one that introduced me to it. So she bought us tickets to go see the new Alien Romulus movie, which was really good. Kind of didn't like some things they did, but I knew why they did them. But it was a really good movie. I enjoyed that. So the reason, that was the main reason why there was no DPS yesterday, just so everybody knows, because I text SloMo, was like, hey, might need to change this because I don't want to tell my aunt I can't go see this because she doesn't know about the podcast or anything. So that's why we didn't do the show yesterday. So y'all can blame me for that one. But outside of that, I think I saw your text message on Wednesday, like real late at night about COD, but I had like literally just laid in the bed. So, but I didn't play any video games literally since last Thursday. So that's kind of been what my week has been.
Grumpy Shaman. But Forte said last week he was full of energy because he had his CPAP. He was sleeping with CPAP. Heck yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing but sleep, bro. I slept. Shoot, what time did I actually wake up? Like, get out the bed. I think Wednesday I got out the bed at like 1:30 because I had to take my dog to go get a shot. And then I think I sat on my couch and watched The Resident on Netflix for like 5 hours. I don't know. And then Saturday, I cleaned the gutters and went to the show on Saturday. I'm not Saturday, Thursday. But yeah, it was rough. I think it's just because I worked so much. I think I worked 59 hours in 4 days, or not 4 days, in like 5 days. So I just burnt out. I didn't want to do anything. So, which kind of leads to the conversation that me and SloMo were just having about being real, why I haven't progressed on the podcast or anything. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. It's kind of why I've been real distant on a lot of things, like really not talking on Twitter, not really playing, not playing games, but being in parties with people. It's just like, you know, it's my mental has kind of been out of whack for like 4 or 5 months now. Not having a CPAP kind of embellished that a lot. So I'm trying to get back to a normal stance, but you know, I hate disappointing SloMo because I knew I was going to disappoint him when I told him that I scrapped the things I did for the podcast a couple of times. It didn't loop him in. So I was kind of regretting having that conversation. It was putting that conversation off instead of just coming to him as a man and saying, bro, I need help with this. And knowing he would help with it. It's just that I didn't know what I needed to do. I didn't even know how to explain it because it's like I have a whole bunch of things that run through my mind of what I want to do. And then when it doesn't work the way I want it to work, or I see it's going to take a lot of time, I'm just like, I got to stop this. I got to do something else. And then that's when I kind of go into that situation where I'm like, hey, well, let's just start over, which isn't the best thing to do, especially when you've been starting over for like 6 months. So I have some of the stuff still, but like some of the stuff that I've been working on recently, I like kind of just went back on. So that's why SloMo's upset at me, because I haven't been, you know, fort with the stuff that's been going on. And that's my apology. And we're going to, now that he knows I do feel better, and I know he's going to like hold feet to fire on this one. They're going to tell me we're going to have daily conversations with this. We're going to jump in Discord and we're going to talk about this step by step until it's done. So I already know what's going to happen after this podcast, but that's just me coming clean with, now that I said it, you know, I'm sorry, SloMo. I'm going to keep it a buck. You've been communicating like a high schooler, which means you don't communicate. You can be communicating like a 15-year-old. No, they don't communicate well. They don't communicate well. They communicate in emoji and abbreviations of words that don't need to be abbreviated, and they don't communicate things that need to be communicated, like you. So what we need to do, we're gonna talk more about this offline, but we gotta work on this. Yeah,
we will.
My blood pressure is building. It's building. I'm too old to have high blood pressure.
Randy Pittsburgh's blood pressure is building too.
I'm more angry at you than Randy Pitchford right now.
That's now that's saying something.
That is saying a whole lot.
That's saying a lot. All right, okay. Well, I'm not gonna say we're gonna do better because you didn't do anything wrong. I'm gonna do better because I have to do better by my friend. If I consider you my friend, I gotta step up and be the friend I'm supposed to be. And I apologize for not bringing this to your attention earlier, but we'll talk more.
Gregor says, I still think Forte is too low, but he just be yapping, so you can go ahead and turn him down. Well, one, I don't know how he's still too low unless it's something on my side. I mean, I can turn him up to 150 in Discord.
I literally have myself at 64 dB, which is 10 more than I usually am at. Is my mic not? No, my mic's plugged in.
I mean, it sounds like your normal mic, so I'm not going to think it's like a different. You know how like sometimes
I was just making sure my XLR was plugged all the way in, but it is.
So that's your update, guys, on everything with the channel and any changes whatsoever. They've been. It's been as if a corporation has scammed the government into saying we would do this government work, we'll do these infrastructure changes, and then 6 months later they still got all the tractor trailer and all the construction stuff just sitting out there, and it's not been finished yet. This is a very specific example because it's exactly what has been going on of like 10 miles down the road from my house. So it just popped in my mind, so forgive me. But
didn't the government pay for some of that though already?
Probably. And they just slow walking, trying to squeeze as much money out of the government as possible before they finally do their job. That's how I feel. I feel like I am the state of Maryland, and Forte is scamming you, construction company right now, just not getting the job done, not communicating anything at all, and then like, my bad, like I'm supposed to just make everything better anyway.
Now I feel even worse because you just said that I'm out of state, the contractor, like 343 that's like not getting the job done.
Yes, that perfect. Yes. You are Chris Lee, the director of the former director of 343. Oh yeah, Phil. The Halo Infinite looking great. It's looking fantastic. Y'all gonna love it. And we got Craig Face. That's where you at right now, right? It's just is what it is. Look, anyway, I got a poll running, and the poll says, "Are we tired of Forte's excuses?" And out of 16 votes, 80% of you are tired of Forte's excuses. I wish I could vote, because then it would be even higher.
Well, I'm one of the 81%. I was vote 15 that said yes.
That don't make it no better. Just because you voting with the rest of us doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't change anything.
Well, at least it made you laugh. That's
we sick and tired of these excuses. Damn it. All right, look. Randy Pittsburgh. Yeah, whoever Randy Pittsburgh is, he's a better person than Randy Pitchford. So yeah, I don't care if he hears this and gets mad about it. I don't know. Do a magic trick and have a coconut smile, bro. Anyway, look, my week, not working on the podcast, but I did a lunchtime with SloMo. I've been playing Call of Duty. I've been playing the First Descendant, making a lot of progress on my Descendants. I am close to min-maxing my bunny build. I like it a lot. It's really good at killing mobs, but it's not quite. I need more what do they call it, chrysalis catalyst to basically, it's the same thing in Warframe where you lower the cost of certain mods on your build. I need to do that for every single slot for my build. and I'm still kind of working on that. I also kind of feel like I'm kind of mulling over a couple of different mods that might make lower the cooldown in between my skills depleting. So because I still have an issue in mobs where I do run out of MP or I run out of skill power. I think it's non-attribute skill power that she has, and so I'm still trying to make it so that like if there are enemies around, my cooldown does not go away, which I see other people make it possible, but so far I haven't. But the build's nasty. Like I'm just running past people and people just dying. It's pretty cool. So I'll put a video out on that once it's done, and I got like maybe probably about 7 descendants, but none of them are like really like I have an idea for all their builds, but I haven't really had the time to put it in because it's all very, very time consuming with the first descendant. And there was a trailer that dropped today that talks about the new season, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Gregor, they call it Forma in Warframe, but it's a Chrysalis Catalyst in First Descendant. It's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. What else have I been doing?
Oh man, I haven't heard the word Forma in a long time.
Right. I think that's really all I've been playing. I haven't really, oh no. I've been spending money in Fortnite because look,
yeah, I saw the messages and you was like, oh my God, Taz put a picture in there and you were like, oh my God, I'm about to spend a lot of money.
And yes, I did. I spent about $40 immediately. I bought all of it. So essentially, Fortnite dropped a new season today, but last night they dropped like new skins, and they got the X-Men in there, and they got Cyclops, Jubilee, and Colossus in there, and I was just like, yo, are you serious? Because I bought it all. Their backpacks, their gliders, all that. I bought all of it. Am I a whale? Call me Shamu. Okay, so yeah. And then the season started, and the season's dope because the previous season almost made me want to uninstall Fortnite. Period. It was probably the worst season, one of the worst seasons they've ever had. It was boring. It was bad. The cold car meta was trash. Now they really like. They got like all these powers from like Marvel characters. So they got like Doctor Doom powers in there. They got Iron Man, War Machine using, stuff in there. They got all kinds of stuff. They got Wolverine's claws. They got Captain America's shield. It's cool. And they finally got a battle. It took them forever to do this. They haven't done this in a while, but they finally got a battle pass that actually has skins in it that people want. Most of the time with their battle passes, they just got skins of like their own original characters, which some of them look cool, but seriously, like I didn't buy the battle pass to get that crap, right? So you can save that, or at least save some of it. Now they got like Emma Frost, the White Queen from the Hellfire Club in X-Men, in there. They got Shuri, Black Panther's sister, in there. There's another like Marvel character. Oh, Mysterio, I think, is in there. Yeah, Mysterio, and I feel like there's something else. War Machine, and Iron Patriot are all. It's the majority of the battle pass is like Marvel stuff. So it's like a whole Marvel season, and they got Doctor Doom's palace on the map. It's fantastic. It's great. I'm having a ball. I actually played a lot of Fortnite today as I was kind of like dealing with work and getting the boys haircuts and stuff like that. So it's been a dope day. It was a great day until I talked to Forte. Is how I'm a put the period in on that before we can get into these topics. If you are ready, sir. You ready? You're always ready? Great.
I'm always ready.
So first topic of the night. Square Enix is talking about switching it up for the final FF7R game. And what they're talking about, FF7 Rebirth director, I'm gonna butcher this name, but I'm gonna try it. Naoki Hamaguchi, I think I got that right, told CG World Japan that the company planned on assessing the pros and cons of sticking with Unreal Engine 4 versus moving up to Unreal Engine 5. Hamaguchi thinks what players want most is for Square Enix to deliver the final game in as good a shape as possible. And they believe switching to Unreal Engine 5 will accelerate development. Now, I think that's odd, as that hasn't been a sentiment expressed by any other developer using Unreal Engine 5 so far. Potentially, maybe this is something that could occur with Unreal Engine 5.4, which is the current version that's available right now. But Hamaguchi says that Rebirth took them 4 years to develop in parallel with FF7 Integrate. I find that kind of weird, considering FF7 Remake came out April 2020 and Rebirth came out February 2024. So that's 4 years. Now, clearly, if you're saying it took you 4 years in parallel, that don't sound like in parallel. That sounds like it took you 4 years after you dropped Rebirth. So I don't know.
Basically, that's what it sounds like.
And just, to me, I kind of feel like if they kept the same pace and they kept Unreal Engine 4 as their game engine, this game, the final one, wouldn't be coming out until like 2028, 2027 at the earliest. We're probably 2028. And I just can't imagine playing an Unreal Engine 4 game. That's a brand new game in 2028 when you're about to go into a new generation at that point. Xbox will already start their new generation. PlayStation will be starting their new generation at that time. So Forte.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they should do? Well, one, do you think switching to Unreal Engine 5 would accelerate development? And do you think they should switch to that? And when do you think the final game is going to come out?
Switching Unreal Engine 5 will not accelerate their development. It will only slow it down due to the fact that you already have a grasp on Unreal 4 with the games you already made. I know they probably want to use now, if this game isn't going to make it into this generation, that might be the reason they're doing it, because the next generation might be the reason that they want to move over to Unreal Engine 5, because they probably have they definitely have insight into when the next console cycle is going to come out, so they can make decisions on how the game is going to be produced. And they're probably thinking like, well, Unreal 5 is going to be more of a house. It was already a household name now, but it'll be more stable. More developers will be using it in 2027, 2028. The consoles that we are in now will be more mature to be able to use Unreal 5, because everybody will pretty much have figured out all the ins and outs of what Unreal is by that point. And then they're going to most likely have systems that are coming out or are releasing that will have Unreal development in mind based into the box. So it'll be easier to develop or port whatever game they're making for, Series X, PC, and PS5 Pro, or, whatever PS5 is going to be out at that time. So short side, it's definitely going to elongate their development, because they're going to have to basically redo all their tools and stuff and learn new tools to be able to make the last Final Fantasy R. But long term, it will probably be more of a benefit due to the fact that they'll be able to hit the ground running with next generation, and then they'll be able to have that they would have that expertise with a lot inside of their studio building Unreal games going into the next generation, since they already did, a lot of the theory crafting making this game. So it really comes down to, do you want to just take the time and make people wait, or do you want to get it out as early as possible? I think they're going to make people wait, because they didn't have a problem with making people wait from 2020 to 2024. Or 2025, or 2023, which was 3 years already. This game is probably going to come out 2027, 2028, which will be almost in line, if not a little bit longer than what they did with the last one. So I think they're just
the timetable for the last ones is 2020 and 2024, because Rebirth came out in February.
Oh, that's right. It came out early this. It's been It feels like it's been out a long time, bro. Yeah.
Well,
So
no,
February.
it's just this year. It's just this year.
Well, 6 months. 6 months.
It's
It's
it's still the highest rated game to come out this year.
It was good too. So you're talking about, okay, so 4 years, which is going to put them close to the beginning of the next generation. That's probably the reason they're doing it, is more the fact that they want to be able to use it to get expertise in coding for Unreal 5. And they already know this game is going to most likely be a cross-gen game anyway. So why not elongate the development a little bit longer in order to get, to get the expertise in that. Plus they know people are going to buy the game no matter what. So they know that they're not going to lose money in switching over to Unreal versus trying to do that in like a different game, a game that they know they don't know.
I'm not sure people are going to buy this game no matter what. Final Fantasy games don't sell like they used to.
The people that already bought it will buy. Like the people that bought, they got data on the people that bought the first one and the second one.
Yeah, but I don't know if Rebirth sold more than Remake.
It didn't.
I would say logic would tell you it probably won't, because there'll be people who bought Remake and actually didn't even. It's a good game, very good game.
They didn't like the direction it went in.
Yeah, so there are people who's going to buy it, not like it, and saying I'm not going to get Rebirth. And then there are people who are, and so I think that, and I think Rebirth, the reception to Rebirth is not as high as it was for Remake. Yeah, there were a lot of people who didn't like the direction they went, but a lot of those people also never played the game and did Nintendo playing the game because it wasn't turn-based. The people who played the game, for the most part, enjoyed it. There are people who played Rebirth and were not happy with things that happened in Rebirth. They thought a lot of the side content was too bloated. They didn't like the performance. The wear and tear and the age on Unreal Engine 4 really showed itself in Remake. People didn't like the very, like, I would say, understanding like the confusing way of how the story was told and how vague some things are and things are left up to interpretation. And people definitely damn sure didn't like the ending. So there's a lot of complaints for Rebirth that were not there for Remake. And I still think the majority of the people are still like invested as of this time in playing the final one to finish it out. But we got some time. We literally got like 4 years, likely 4 years before. And I agree with you. If they switch to Unreal Engine 5, that's not going to accelerate development. Yes, the tools are better. Yes, it's better for open world environments. Yes, you can be able to create environments with less people in Unreal Engine 5, but then you got assets that need to be kind of transitioned over to that engine. You got developers that need to learn how to use that engine, because it's not just a very straightforward thing. There's a whole list of things that need to be adjusted. And I think long story short, I don't think that's going to be a net. It's quicker to develop this game unless like some miracle happens and Epic starts developing tools for third-party developers that really like are actually doing what they're always trying to sell. Because like Epic has been trying to sell developers on how easy the transition from 4 to 5 is since 2019. And it's not been like that, clearly. Like, I've yet to see a single developer really go out there and co-sign what Epic has been saying. So all that said, I just don't see it coming out sooner. And I think as time went on for Remake, people appreciated it more. I don't think people will appreciate Rebirth more as time goes on. It's an okay game for me. It's good. Combat, they massively improved the combat, but I wasn't really feeling the ending and some of the choices that they made that definitely will carry over to the final game. So for me, it's whatever. But like other people, as time goes on, their feelings after they finish the game might change as things go on. gets released on PC, which is likely coming early next year or something like that. I just don't know. I don't think. I'm almost of the mind to just keep it on Unreal Engine 4, get it up out of here. Just finish it, And it's just like that might be a little of my frustration with Square Enix in regards to some of the decisions that they made, but we'll just have to see. I just think that if they decide to go the Unreal Engine 5 route, what you're going to be looking at is a game that's going to be a launch title on the PlayStation 6.
Mm-hmm.
A launch title that at that point would be Unreal Engine 5 would be an outdated game engine, because Epic is going to be next generation pushing Unreal Engine 6. So it's just like, is it worth it really? I don't know. So anything else you want to say on this before we
No, that's a good point right there. I just, sometimes you think that Square Enix makes, we always know they make dumb decisions. They don't even know what sales metrics really mean. Maybe it's going to be a lot different under the new CEO and everything, but we're starting to see a different Square Enix in the way that they're operating. So let's just hope that they keep this all in mind as development on this next game kind of happens. But that's it.
Cool. Let's see here. Black Myth Wukong. Now, I never updated the topic because just last night, all you could really do was the benchmark tool. That's the only real information that was really out there about the game, period, anyway. But
not anymore.
Now, today we got reviews. And let me double check where it's at now, because the last time I saw it, it was at in a 82, but I feel like it probably went lower considering the way people were talking about it. But it's essentially, a lot of people are calling it, it's still an 82 with 54 reviews, all of them on PC. There is not a single review for PS5 because no review codes for PlayStation 5 were sent. Additionally, the Xbox is not being supported and as a platform that you could play this on at launch. So clearly you're not going to get any Xbox platform reviews. So it's just PC. And people complained of technical issues. People complained of just the game just being much of a boss rush kind of game, which, if you're down for that, whatever, right? It's cool. So I did the benchmark tool, the benchmarking tool. And I know they're getting I have an NVIDIA GPU. I know they're having an NVIDIA Game Ready driver coming out for this game when it comes out. I still found it to be pretty demanding. It was the game looks great, and they got the highest settings is cinematic mode, but let me double check. I want to actually make sure. I don't want to say this out of turn. I want to make sure everything, because I actually took screenshots of my benchmarks, so I just want to double check to make sure they're all good. But thought we lost Forte. So when I ran the game, when I ran the game in 14, I have a 4080 Super, by the way. When I ran the game in 1440p, no upscaling, native 1440p in cinematic mode with the highest ray tracing on and frame generation, I got 51. I averaged 51 frames per second, Forte.
Dang.
Yeah. Now, when I turned on DLSS quality, I was able to bring that up to 81 frames per second. This is still with full ray tracing and in 1440p. Oh, this is great. Yeah, this one's great. In 4K, native 4K, with full ray tracing on and frame generation, I was able to get 28 frames per second average. Now, bear in mind, there were some content creators who tend to lean heavily on the blue side of things, that was going around spreading a rumor that the PlayStation 5 version may have a native 4K 60 frames per second mode. Does that sound likely? Even remotely likely? Sure, I have full ray tracing on, but I also have an NVIDIA card, and I was only getting 28 frames per second. I highly doubt that would ever be possible on the PlayStation. And considering that they didn't send a single PlayStation 5 review code, it is given very cyberpunk. It's given very, that version's going to be a disaster, but we'll see. We'll see next week when it comes out. When I turn frame gen off with full ray tracing at native 4K, highest settings, Forte, with a 4080 Super, 15 frames per second.
Wow.
I needed frame generation to get 30 frames.
Wow.
Not well optimized. Okay. 4K, native 4K, no ray tracing, no frame generation, 33 frames per second. For native 4K, full setting, like max settings, all cinematic settings, no ray tracing, frame generation on, 54 frames per second. All these are really no numbers. Now the settings I'm going to use when I play this game, I average 60 FPS, and those settings were 4K but with DLSS quality, everything cinematic, ray tracing on medium, and frame gen on. Now, frame generation is an interesting thing because it's like, depending on the implementation in the game, it could be fine, or it could be, the latency could be so bad it's unplayable. But I saw a lot of people who was running this benchmarking tool were running it, if they had the card, of course, with frame generation on. And so it's a benchmarking tool. You're not actually playing the game. It's just running a pre-selected sequence and letting your hardware run that to see what it could possibly do. But yeah, man. All that said, the last one I had was 4K DLSS performance mode with ray tracing off and frame gen on. I got like 105 frames per second, but I'm not trying to play the game like that. So yeah, pretty demanding game. Anyone thinking you're gonna get 60 FPS with native 4K on a console, you're high. Like you're drugs, you need to stop them, okay? You know, like, it's just, they're not good for you. Forte, did you do the benchmark tool at all?
Nope. I saw all this stuff happen. I saw the reviews come out. I read some of the reviews, and people were talking about stutters and frame and performance issues, and I was like, and I said, this is on a PC. Now, we don't know what these reviewers, what kind of PCs they were playing on, but I guarantee you not all of them are playing on potatoes. Some of them actually probably got some pretty good stuff. And if you guys think this game's going to perform well on PS5, and the fact that the developer or the publisher didn't even give people, it looks like didn't even give people PS4 codes to even review the game, and all you see is reviews for PC, it's a wrap, bro. And
a lot of reviews complaining about technical issues. Like, yeah, that's not looking great. And so I do want to, like, to be fair, the driver coming out next week and potentially a day one patch might alleviate some of these issues, you know, like they might make things a little bit more optimized. And clearly 2 weeks from now, like say like, or in September, if you buy Black Myth Wukong in September, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it runs fantastic, because that's typically how things are nowadays. You know, in the beginning, when you got day one, is at its worst state, and then the developers fix bugs, optimize a few things. They start getting more data because they try to QA test a game, but they could have 100 QA testers. Whereas, unfortunately, if you buy it day one, you're now a free QA tester as well. So they find out more information about issues optimization wise that they didn't know about until they launched the game. But it is what it is. I'm still interested in the game. I probably will get it day one. I kind of want to find one of those like websites, like, you know, like Green Man Gaming, Fanatical, whatever. Get a sale. I saw it was on sale. The pre-order was like $45 or $48 or something crazy like that, and I missed it. It expired before I was able to jump on it. So I'm still kind of looking out for that. Forte, are you getting this?
Yeah, I was looking at. I wanted to get it. I was gonna definitely get it on PC. I'll still end up getting it, but I'm gonna wait because I didn't know that patch was coming that soon. So I may still be getting it within the next week or so. It just depends on what the patch does for that game, because I don't need to spend as much money as they want us to spend on these games if they ain't gonna be the way they need to be day one. So I'm willing to wait and then catch it while it's on sale or something. But if the new updated patch does fix a lot of the stuff that's going on and we don't see any issues, I'll buy it. I'll buy it the day the patch comes out.
Yeah, I mean that I don't know if we will get that information until, like, who knows, like a day or two after it comes out, because then, you know, you're gonna get like your digital foundries and your, you know, like your tech tuber sites that will really get into the weeds with it and see, when you get onto this particular map, the game really struggles, or it's you look up in the sky and the frame rate drops in half. Like, I've seen games where that's a problem. It's just, you never know. I'm kind of interested in just going with it day one, but it really depends on how bad it's running. Cause like,
right.
I've already did that once this year with Dragon's Dogma 2, and I was just so sickened. Like, that game really, I think some of its performance issues really, for me, made the game less fun. And I was really, and just in general with the game itself, just it kind of became annoying with just the game design of Dragon's Dogma 2 period. So I don't want this to start in a bad light for me, but we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to say with this before we move on?
No, man, the funny thing is, when you look at the reviews, everybody talked about how good the gameplay was, how awesome the environments were, how great the game looked, but they all had the same thing. I got stutters, I got performance issues, but I liked it. I really liked. I was like, oh my god! It didn't. Some of the reviews were like, you talked about. I mean, the way I always looked at a review, the moment performance is the thing that is the one thing that kind of stands out that I have to like caveat everything around. I in good conscience can't give a game a 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of 8s, you know, and
I can't.
And it's got like a low 80 Metacritic, but no, Metacritic is not really. I don't care about Metacritic. You know,
yeah, I don't either. But it was just weird to see a bunch of 8s, and then inside of their review, they talked about, you know, performance issues and stuttering, and I'm sitting there like, okay, well, obviously it must have been a huge part of your gameplay experience if you made mention to it in your review, because if it was something that was just something that just kind of happened every once in a while, probably like every 3-4 hours in your gameplay, you wouldn't even make mention of it. So it just felt, it was just weird kind of seeing that parallel to it. But it seemed like everybody did really enjoy the gameplay that they did participate in. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what other people think once they get their hands on it.
Yeah, and I think just real quick before we move on, a lot of these games they gotta get out of the mode of like every, and I think I kind of blame the gaming community for this, because anytime a game has like melee combat in it in a third person perspective view, now people are just like Souls like. So like, no, that's just like, do y'all know what Souls like means? Like, it's not a camera perspective in melee combat. It is a entire game design revolved around a particular kind of game, which is that From Software has popularized. And if it doesn't have bonfires where the enemies respawn, if it doesn't have a really high level of difficulty, in addition to the ability to lose your progress if you die, like, there's a lot that goes into it in addition to, you know, potentially not having like any kind of direction of where you're going, you know, and what to do, you know, that kind of like environmental storytelling kind of stuff. And so if it's not doing any of that, it's not a Souls like, so cut it out. But people, every time they see something that looks like this you know, this kind of look, they just think Souls like, and I'm glad they tried to get ahead of that and head that off, because there's nothing wrong with Souls like games, but there are people who just, they hear the word Souls like and they're like, I'm not playing that. And if the game's not Souls like, they're missing out on a particular, like, something that could be a fun experience for them. So yeah, I just need people to stop talking about stuff they don't understand. Anyway, moving on, let's discuss Borderlands. And so and like, you know, because one, I will probably get copyright claimed if I showed anything from the movie, so I won't. But what I will show, oh man, this is some of the messed up gameplay. I gotta find some other gameplay. Anyway, I wouldn't want to show that movie anyway, just on the Jumbotron, because I wouldn't want to, you know, destroy you guys' eyes with that monstrosity. That only sold in its opening weekend 8.8 million copies. I mean, sorry, not copies, but 8.8 million in revenue on a budget of, what is this? This is 115 million budget. Now it still could potentially break even through international pre-sales, and apparently 60% of the production costs were already covered by international sales. A lot of movies that we see bomb over here in like whether, you know, regardless of where you live, I know some of our audience may live in like Canada or the UK, and not just the United States, or, you know, maybe south of the United States, but like in this hemisphere of the world, there are movies that bomb, and then in China it does great, and then that makes up all the money for the movie, and the studio makes out good even though the movie was garbage. That's potentially something that can still happen, although I kind of doubt it when it comes to this movie. But yeah, over the past weekend, Randy Pitchford, you know, let me just say it right, you know, for Gregor in the chat. Randy Pitchford, like, I already kind of think he's been lost his mind, but he just kind of showed how crazy he is this weekend with blocking some of the biggest content creators for Borderlands that are out there simply because they had an opinion of the movie that he didn't like. He was disrespectful to people in games media for having constructive criticism on the game, and just overall like acting like a nut, pretending like he didn't know how he blocked people. I'm like, bro, like on Twitter, it is /X. If you block somebody, it was on purpose. Okay,
Right.
like it's just not possible to accidentally block somebody. That's just not, that doesn't happen. You didn't just butt dial and block like 2 specific people. Like, come on. Then he was going back and forth saying, "Oh, I did mean to block this particular journalist because I think he's a jerk, but maybe I didn't, but I did." It's just like, what drugs are you on, man? So it was just really all over the place. But generally, people I think are kind of sick of Randy, and he's the CEO. For those who don't know, he is the CEO of Gearbox that creates the Borderlands games. And weirdly enough, typically what you see when a TV adaptation or a movie adaptation of a video game does really well, you see the sales of the game, regardless of when it was made, skyrocket. We actually saw that happening for Borderlands games, but it was more of people just wanted like the bad taste of the movie out of their mouth and just wanted to play something of quality. I have to admit, I kind of did that as well, because I reinstalled Tiny Tina Wonderlands, which I really also didn't like as well, but I want to just finish it to say I finished it and just be done with it. Forte, my question for you: Are you? Well, first question for you: are you ever going to see this movie?
No.
You're never going to see. Not even if it comes to digital when it's free on Netflix.
I'll watch it when it comes to. Okay, no. If we're talking about movie wise, I won't pay. But when it comes to, I ain't gonna lie, man. When it comes to streaming, I will. It's not even most likely. I will watch it because I am a fan of Borderlands, but I won't pay to see this.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not going to see this in a movie theater because I mean, some people are out there trying to defend it, saying, well, maybe try to apply what has happened to other movies to this. Well, maybe they didn't have any input in it, and it's just actually wasn't the case. Randy Pitchford was on the set giving feedback like every single day, which is just odd that it turned out the way it did, because people who have seen it, who are Borderlands fans, said that the characterizations of these characters were not right. I knew that based off of the casting, which makes no sense. Like, clearly they just casted the biggest names that was signed that they could find that was signed on to this. For example, Kevin Hart is playing Roland. The only thing that Roland and Kevin Hart have in common is that they are both men and they're both black. That's it. Nothing. Kevin Hart can't play. You just keep it a buck. He does not play roles well that aren't just him being himself, just being a goofy little guy. And and that's not Roland. Roland's a very first of all, he's tall, and Kevin Hart's like tall. 5'2", so that didn't make any sense. Unless they wanted him to play like, Roland's bobblehead or something, but like it doesn't make any sense why he's this. You got this short man. It clearly there are a bunch of tall black male actors out there that could have played this role, but they cast Kevin Hart. Roland is like a stoic leader, kind of upstanding, nice guy. And none of that stuff really defines Kevin Hart. And so why is he why would you get him? They cast what's the woman's name? She's old as like, good grief. Like, I mean, that came out wrong. That came out wrong. I'm sorry. That she real old though, and she playing a character that is not Kate Blanchett. There we go. Kate Blanchett is playing Lilith, which makes no sense because Lilith is young, and Kate Blanchett is like. Let me look her up real quick to just see how old Kate Blanchett is. Kate is, good grief. All right, hold on.
Good grief, she that old?
She is 55 years old. You cast a 55-year-old woman to play a character that's in her 20s. I mean, like, look, just based off the casting alone, I was like, nah, fam, they wildin'. You got Jamie Lee Curtis to play Tannis. Jamie Lee Curtis is even older than Kate. But you had Randy on set, so you think that they would have got this right, but no. So the movie's a bomb, and Randy's not taking it well. My other question to you, Forte, is that now that, like, so we know earlier this year, Gearbox was sold from Embracer Group to Take-Two/2K.
Yep.
Take-Two, it really doesn't change anything for Borderlands in general, because Take-Two, even when Gearbox was sold to Embracer, 2K was still publishing all their games. They have like I don't know the particulars of their deal with Gearbox, but when it comes to Borderlands, they must have like a lifetime publishing deal or something, because they just always publish the game, no matter what. And so this really doesn't change anything in regards to how Borderlands will be distributed and how it will be developed. But how it's been developed recently, I think that they're kind of at a crossroads with the franchise right now. So Borderlands 2 is like, seems to me, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Borderlands 2 is where the Borderlands franchise peaked.
Yes.
That's where it was at its height. It was just at its best there. It has never matched the level of quality of Borderlands 2. Borderlands 3 wasn't a bad game, but the story was bad. And the story kind of put a damper on everything else that was good about Borderlands, good about the game. And so I kind of wonder, with new tales of the Borderlands bombing and being terrible, and them seeing not even being able to get the movie right, is Gearbox just incapable of doing a Borderlands story now, period? They're just incapable of getting these things right, because people also complain about Borderlands 3 in regards to it kind of being too safe. Like, they kind of did the same story beats from 2. The UI is the same. The map still sucks. Like, all these things are, things that were fine in Borderlands 2 back in 2012 are not fine now. And people are kind of wondering, like, are they just incapable of doing better? I saw them kind of try to do some things differently with Tiny Tina Wonderlands. I don't think they executed those things well. But Forte, what are your thoughts on all that? Do you kind of feel like it's just not going to work with them? That they don't really have a shot to deliver on expectations of Borderlands 4?
I mean, first of all, they just need to get away from the whole Handsome Jack thing.
Yes, I agree with that.
They need, it's like
they keep bringing him back.
They keep bringing that man back, and I'm like, just y'all. I mean, it was the greatest, worst thing that ever happened to Borderlands. The fact that that character blew up as much as it did, and
I heard this. I heard this, and I heard this recently, that the best lines and the best one-liners that people loved about Handsome Jack were all ad-libbed by the actor, the voice actor.
They were.
So what the? So I mean, yeah, that's a problem. Because now I think General Knox in one of the DLCs for Borderlands 1.
I really liked him.
He was a great villain, but of course they killed him off. So it's like you can't bring him. Well, I mean, they killed Jack off to keep bringing him back with AI and stuff, which is stupid. But it's gotten Borderlands 4 needs to have no Handsome Jack in it whatsoever, just none. But also, it also needs to have anything related to the story of Borderlands 3 also needs to not be in it. And Ava, they need to kill her in the opening scene. They need to just kill Ava off immediately. She's the most hated character in the entire series. It's for you to kill off one of the most beloved characters in the series and replace her with the most hated one is wild. It's freaking. I can't. I just can't do it.
As soon as they killed my boo, my babe, my heart in what was it, Borderlands 3, I was like, oh my god, man. So not only is Lilith like one thing, it's like then you take the other siren and you take her out in the most unconventional, just like no heart behind it either.
None.
It was just like, I was like, what's going on? Like, dude, that was my favorite. Like, literally, that was my favorite character.
Yeah, Maya is a fan favorite, and you kill a fan favorite.
Dog walked her out the door,
and story wise, it made no sense. It's just like
no sense.
It's like they set it up so that like she would get killed, and it just so. In Borderlands 2, they seemed like the only reason they did it is because they were trying to recapture the feeling of Roland dying in Borderlands 2. Spoilers for people who had played this game in this like 14 years old. That's on you. But in Borderlands 2, Roland gets killed, but it was way more impactful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But also Roland wasn't a fan favorite of the first group of Vault Hunters. It was Mordecai. So you could kill Roland and be like, oh man, Roland just died. That's messed up.
Well, he was the leader. So it was just like in people's eyes, you kind of, even knowing like you said, he wasn't everybody's favorite, you kind of sympathize with the leader of the group being killed. So it's like it kind of hit a chord that you wouldn't expect how it hit, but it cut deep a little bit.
It was a good emotional beat. It came out of left field because that's the first of the main characters to actually die. So you actually got a genuine response out of the player, when you did it. To repeat the same kind of thing with Maya just didn't make any sense, because it's like the only reason it happened is because Ava's dumb character disobeyed orders again and showed up there, which then put Maya in a situation where she's trying to defend her while also trying to defend herself. And and it's like to be killed by two absolute garbage villains and then them kind of memeing about it afterwards was just like it stunk. It was a horrible look. No one enjoyed it. No one liked it. And it's just like, so in the next game, I don't want to see one of the Borderlands 3 Vault Hunters get killed. If you're gonna kill anybody, kill Ava off, because no one likes her. But other than that, just like stop trying to follow the same story beats that have already been done before, because they're not going to have the same impact as they once did.
How far into Borderlands 3 was Maya's death?
Like halfway through.
That's when I stopped playing. I stopped playing like an hour after that. I remember, because I never beat Borderlands 3. They pissed me off so much.
The last act is awful. The last act is, I'm not one to talk about pandering in games, but that's pandering. Like that, like I like strong, like, female protagonists. I love it, but strong female protagonists aren't a bunch of Mary Sues. And there's also not like, just you turn. This is probably brand new for you, because you probably didn't make it this far. They made Tannis a siren.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They made Tannis a siren, and they kind of retconned a bit what happened in Borderlands 2. That when Angel died, Tannis became the next siren, but she somehow just decided not to tell anybody for no reason. Up until like the end of Borderlands 3, which is stupid. Then they all get together, and despite outside of your Vault Hunters doing all the work and killing everybody, like Lilith saves the galaxy or something, and Maya dying made Ava a siren, and it's just girl power. So it's just like it's just
yeah,
it's just girl power, you know.
Yeah, my favorite. The only thing that I really liked about, like you said, the girl power things is in 2 is when Maya basically was rescuing Lilith, and they got it to, you got that arena fight where Lilith is teleporting and transferring all over the place, and you got to get the to bring them to the middle and everything. I thought that was really cool because it was like really cool seeing 2 powerful.
But I mean, but that's not even like that changes. That just depends on which Vault Hunter you're using.
Well, yeah, that's what I was using. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I always went with Maya. Well, in that game, I went with Maya, and I went with Lilith because I just like the whole siren. It was like something, and I think that's also
it's a dope concept. Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a really dope concept, and then on top of it,
but it didn't dominate the story.
Exactly.
And the problem the problem with Borderlands 3 is the main villain is also a siren, and her twin brother is like a siren leech. So just everything is, instead of it being based on the vaults and opening the vaults and getting the loot, which is what Vault Hunters are supposed to be about, it's about chasing sirens and siren lore, and no one gives a crap about that stuff really. Like, sirens are cool and their powers are cool, but we don't care. Like, they're like you trying to turn them into Buffy the Vampire Slayer when one dies, another one is awakened kind of nonsense.
Well, that was the thing. They tried to go after, they saw that everybody liked the concept of what sirens were, and they doubled down and just made the game mostly about that, about the lore of the siren, to the point where you, like you said, 2 of the worst antagonists ever. I couldn't stand the twins. I was like, at first I used to think it was really cool, like especially when you looked at the concept art. I remember the first trailer they put out when they was doing like the mechanized version of them going through the thing and like showing them as like this big old monolith at the very end of the trailer. I thought that was cool as heck. I was like, yo, this is gonna be fire. But then you get to playing the game and you realize like they're just whiny little bees.
Yeah, they're whiny children that like argue and bicker with one another. The dialogue is not like at all enjoyable. It's just it sucks. It sucks. The story sucks. They suck. The story's trash. Do better.
And that's why I feel like the movie is kind of where a lot of people see it as not being good, is because they have never really landed the story element. Because like you said, the one key thing is it wasn't written. Handsome Jack was written, but the things that people remember the most about Handsome Jack wasn't the things that was written in a script. It was the things that he did or said that was completely ad-lib throughout the entire game that made you just come from left field, be like, whoa, what the heck? So they really never wrote a good Borderlands story on their own that could stand on its own. So why would we think that the movie?
Well, I wouldn't say. I think Borderlands 2 story is good.
The story's good. I'm just talking about the reason that people like, the reason we love Handsome Jack and the reason people loved him so much is because yes, the concept of him was good, but the things that he said and did was more based on what the actor brought to the character than what they wrote on paper. Everything else, I think, in the game, when it comes to the characters, like we talked about Roland and the way that they portrayed the sirens in the game, and the way that they talked about the votes and stuff, and how all that stuff tied together, and all the way to the end where they had to leave to go to different places, how votes are everywhere and they wanted to hunt those votes, and there's more vote hunters out there. I thought that was all cool, but the coolest thing is the actor brought something to the table that they didn't expect, and that's what made the game light years better than it probably would have been if they would have picked somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's where the movie is. Think about it, you can only have so many. Ashley Birch can only do so much as Tiny Tina. She's great. We love her.
I'm kind of sick of that character too. And she's barely in Borderlands 3. She's like in one section of the game.
Right, and that's the thing. So all the things, I mean, think about it. This should let you know that it was all about trying to reach for something. They made a game, like everybody was, like you said, getting tired of her. So the fact that they didn't have her in 3 a lot, so they had to double down and give. But then they created
a different version, like a combination of. Like Ava's just a terrible character. You know, I don't want to harp on this anymore. I just want to move on. I'm starting to get annoyed just thinking about all this stuff. You're starting to get
irritated because it's one of the greatest, it's one of the best franchises out there, and it's the one that started all these games as a service because everybody saw that, you know, you can get 4 people together in a co-op environment versus PvE environments and go against raid bosses or dungeon bosses. And it was cool and people liked it. And that's where games like Destiny and everything else was born from.
Yeah, it's the grandfather of looter shooters. Like the format was created here with Borderlands, but it's just, you know, you get your due for that. You get the deserved respect for that. But when it comes to newer games, like, you just can't keep living off of the accolades that you earned with Borderlands 2. Like, you just can't be, hey, remember how we did it like this? Just like, yeah, I remember that, but I don't care about that anymore because that was 2012. Can you recreate new experiences that hit the same way those did? And I just don't think this current Gearbox is capable of doing that, because just keep it a buck. They don't have the same writers. They don't have the same gameplay designers. Like, the game is better in gunplay, but I don't think it's better in skill trees. I don't think it's better in interesting characters. I don't think it's better in the kind of crazy guns that you get. Like, its signature is the best skill trees in looters and guns and abilities and gear that when you put them together, the combinations they make are like literally can break the game. Just easily break the game with the infinite combinations of weapon and gears that you could put together. And they just never really match that in this game or Tiny Tina Wonderland. It just ain't there. So they gotta start listening to their community to kind of wrap this up. They gotta start listening to the Borderlands community, because they're the people who are there hardcore. Like, on my YouTube channel, my biggest, most viewed video is a Borderlands video. The top 2 actually are Borderlands videos.
Yeah,
the Borderlands community is hard freaking core, and they will be there and they will play your games faithfully day in and day out and buy it on every single platform they can think of if you actually deliver on what they're asking for. But you gotta listen to them, and you can't think you know better than them and you know what's best for them when clearly that has not worked for you at all. So anything else before we move on here?
Nope, sauteed and fried.
Cool. So, last topic. Yeah. So, there's this rumor going around. This rumor was started by Nate the Hate and Shinobi, that potentially there will be a first-party game for Xbox to be announced on PlayStation next week. And what is next week? That's Gamescom. So potentially at Gamescom, we will be finding out that another Xbox first party game will be going to PlayStation. Now, Forte, when did we hear about Forza Horizon 5? How long ago was that? Was that April?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, it was earlier this year, April. I would say March, April.
Okay, so like around March or April, me and Forte were told by someone who has someone who definitely would know. Okay, just say it like that. That a Forza game may be going to PlayStation, and so I didn't say anything about that because that's not what, you know, that now that the cat's kind of out the bag on this kind of thing, that I can start talking about it. But back then I wasn't saying anything about it. and it wasn't known whether it was like be Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon 5. It was just Forza. A Forza game was going, and me and Forte kind of like thought about like it would just make sense as Forza Horizon 5, considering. I don't know, like if you're gonna start putting your games over there, well, I put Forza Motorsport over there to compete, a simulation racer to compete directly with Gran Turismo on that platform. You're not really going to beat Gran Turismo regardless of quality of Forza. If people are into Gran Turismo, they're just going to play Gran Turismo. They're not going to play both. So if you're going to put Forza, put the arcade racer over there, the very, very good high quality arcade racer. It would be the best arcade racer on the platform. And so I think it makes sense to do Forza Horizon 5. And now Forza Horizon 5 is on going to be talked about at the show next week, because when Xbox did their marketing for their Gamescom showcase, they had Forza Horizon 5 up there. Now I've heard that potentially apparently this is like some DLC or something they're doing, so maybe that's the reason why, and it's something else. Some of the other options, and we can kind of discuss this a bit, but some of these other options here, I would say this, Forte, I just want to know if you agree with me. Do you think it's a live service game?
Yes.
And why do you think that?
Because they're about active users. Forza is a live service game. It doesn't really have it doesn't have really microtransactions in it, but the way that it operates around people playing multiple people online, doing a lot of the stuff in the game. So just in general, it's not a paid MAU game, but it is a game that they track and they use to bolster their online numbers every year when it comes to how many people are playing online. They did it the day that it came out, the week before they released Halo. The game saw like crazy numbers, and then it fell off after they released the multiplayer a little bit, but that has persisted with that game ever since it came out. So I do think it's going to be a live service game. And it would be interesting if they did release a DLC around it, because if they did release a DLC, like I think the one we have out now is I think the Lego one is the one that's out right now.
Is it Lego? I thought Forza Horizon 4 was Lego. Isn't it I think it's Hot Wheels.
Oh, Hot Wheels is the one that's out now. You're right. Hot Wheels is out now, and everybody's been anticipating Lego next because they did a Hot Wheels on the last one too. So a lot of people think this is going to be a Lego DLC for this one, if that's the case that they're doing. But this is absolutely a live service game, because this is another reason to track MAU. The same thing they did with Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is a game, a live service game, mostly just so they could track MAUs across multiple platforms and stuff. And why not be able to get people into an ecosystem like that? Because once again, it requires Xbox Live to be able to play. So that's like the paid barrier entry for games like that. So you're getting people on another platform to be able to, that has to be able to play those games, or has some type of service fee attached to it to be able to get them into that ecosystem. They're not paying Xbox per se, but Xbox is getting some type of cut for anybody that's playing online on PlayStation, from PlayStation when it comes to that, because they're using their servers to do it. I do agree with the whole motorsport thing. I do think that motorsport could work over there, but the biggest thing that they want to do is they want to see what the interest is. So the interest will be best in an arcade racer, get everybody used to what Forza is, and then get people used to what the name of Forza is. And then if it does really, really well, that gives you a green light at a later date to bring Motorsport open, because people will probably be like, oh man, I played Horizon 5, it was really, really cool, let me see what this Motorsport is about, because now you have an identifying nature with the game. So this is them basically slow playing the conversation they saw that Sea of Thieves did really well over there as a service game, getting people on there, and this is another game that's kind of in the same vein. Plus, why not? Because there's no other game on that platform that could even compete with this game that PlayStation makes themselves. I would think the only closest thing would be The Crew, and that's kind of fallen off. And then it's only been
I
one
think the
Need for Speed.
latest The Crew was basically just copying Forza anyway. So
Yeah, and then the only other game that is like an arcade racer is the latest Need for Speed, and I don't even think anybody's looking for that when it comes to Unbound. So this is going to be the premier arcade racer on that system, and I think a lot of people have been kind of like yearning for a game like that on PlayStation, because it just hasn't been available. So this will be the perfect opportunity for them to like introduce it into their ecosystem.
yeah, and so we know that they were kind of testing how things would go on in multiple ways, testing the Xbox community and how they will react to it, but also testing the performance of the first batch of games they put on PlayStation and Nintendo. And those games were Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, Pentiment, and Sea of Thieves. So 2 live service games and 2 single player games. The single player games did not do very well. Hi-Fi Rush did not sell over there, needed the Pentiment. And both of those are quality titles, but didn't resonate with the PlayStation community or the Nintendo community, because I think both of those games ended up on both platforms. Grounded and Sea of Thieves, though, only on PlayStation, I believe, but they weren't released on Nintendo. But they did do well, and I think that kind of like told them that that's what we could kind of do in that community, that ecosystem. We could do our live service content. And so I really believe there are no secret cows, there are no unbreakable pillars. They are trying to buck trends in how people view what you can and cannot do with a platform. And I firmly believe, despite that is the mindset that they have, that it is being pushed by people who are not who are within Microsoft, but who are not within the gaming division, the people who don't understand gaming and don't understand how it works. And I do believe in the long term, not the short term. You can look at like the last 6 months, and a lot of people will point to the double-digit negatives in consoles sold, but will also there'll be people who will hype up the highest, whatever talking term they said, the highest monthly active users they've ever had, that kind of thing, despite the fact that like you could do that on all these other platforms and Xbox still be struggling, but whatever, right? I think in the long term it's going to damage the Xbox console irreparably, especially if they do what I think they're going to do, which is essentially do timed exclusive content for Nintendo and PlayStation, and have Xbox be the like where the games first come out, Xbox and PC. But then when they go into next generation, they're done with that. I think they're going to be just straight multi-platform, like the games just go everywhere. But to get to what could, because there's been some talk that potentially it's not Forza Horizon 5 that goes to PlayStation or announced to go to PlayStation next week. Some of the other games that I've seen have been rumored is Halo, the Master Chief Collection, have been a Gears game, probably Ultimate Edition or something like that. Something, to kind of start people at the beginning of the franchise. And Microsoft Flight Sim, which I think Microsoft Flight Simulator, if anything, any of these other options are potentially something that could work, I think Flight Sim probably makes the most sense. because it's something that really isn't on other platforms. I don't know if you call it live service or not. I don't think so, but it is very different, and I don't think there is anything quite like that on the PlayStation platform right now. But I could also see Master Chief Collection going too, because I mean that's literally all the Halo games. It's all the except for Halo Guardians, which they probably want to pretend like didn't exist, and Halo Infinite, which they probably feel the same about. But you put the Master Chief Collection over there, multiplayer wise, it's a old school arena shooter, so that might not resonate with the PlayStation community like that. But those campaigns would, I think, and I think people would jump on. I think they would try to, you know, see what they could do with that. What do you think?
I think so the game is actually listed to be shown on August 21st, which is isn't that day one for them?
You mean for Gamescom?
Yeah, for Xbox. Because I know Jeff Keighley's doing Tuesday night, opening night, right?
Yeah, let me look at this Gamescom schedule real quick.
I think Xbox's Gamescom starts on the day after, which is Wednesday. And that's the day that they have
opening night is August 20th, which is Tuesday.
And that's Jeff Keighley's thing.
Yeah, opening night live. Yeah,
opening night Jeff Keighley. Then Xbox is on the 21st. So what's interesting about that, the fact that they do have it listed on their thing. What do you, and I'm gonna answer your question, but I ask you this: what do you think does Xbox want to be the one that's going to announce this, or are they going to drop it on Jeff Keighley to announce it during opening night live?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And they just talk about the DLC, the new DLC that's coming out
on their own show. That makes sense, because then you know your Xbox Gamescom showcase is about the Xbox. Yeah, it's Xbox. What's coming to Xbox and PC right now. On opening night live is going to be essentially a multi-platform show. So yeah, you could.
So if it happens, it's going to happen there.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
that's what I think. I think Jeff Keighley is going to basically break the eggs into an omelet on Tuesday about the game coming, Forza coming to the PlayStation platform. Xbox is going to talk about and he's going to probably say all, Forza and, all content coming to the Xbox, to the PlayStation platform. You'll see more during the Xbox showcase event that they're going to have tomorrow when it comes to like what the DLC entails. And then Xbox will just talk about it under just Xbox, but you already know under the precursor, because Jeff Keighley told you the day before that all that's coming to PlayStation 2. So Xbox doesn't even have to utter the word PlayStation during their showcase.
So out of the three games that I mentioned, which one of them do you think, if it's not Forza Horizon 5, which one of them think would? I didn't mention Starfield.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry. I think it's going to be Starfield because of the DLC.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's already been out a year. By that time, Starfield it'll be like a week away from a year. Why not announce? Now, I don't think Xbox is going to announce any of this. The fact that Starfield is going to be showcased on day one, the fact that Forza is going to be announced on day one.
So, do you think Shattered Space will also be on PlayStation?
Yeah, because I think it's going to be a Game of the Year edition. or
so
whatever they want to call it.
the release of the DLC is multi-platform day one.
Is multi-platform day one.
I can't see that. I can't see that right now. I can't see that right now. I know they plan on supporting Starfield for a long time. But then again, also that's a single player game.
So what were the other games you said? Okay, so if it's not Forza, what was the other ones?
Forza, Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears, and Microsoft Flight Sim.
Ooh, Flight
and I really just realized you weren't paying attention when I said this before.
Flight.
You weren't paying attention. That's why you need to be repeated.
I heard you say. Halo. I didn't hear the Flight Sim. Flight Sim ain't gonna do it because they ain't gonna. That's not gonna move anything. I don't see people running out to buy a PlayStation to play Flight Sim as much as I love it. I mean,
well, I don't think people would run out and play. I think people who already own the PlayStation would play it.
I mean, if you go off of what Sadia, I just think it's really tied to like Sadia when he talked about Sea of Thieves numbers. He came out literally the next day, talked about how well they sold on PlayStation and everything. And, that's why I think Forza would be the best one. It's hard for me. Listen, Halo. See, I can't even fix my mouth to say that because you already know how I feel about Xbox giving Halo away to anybody else.
Play with the Master Chief with a DualSense.
Yeah, exactly. Master Chief with a DualSense? No, you're not even Xbox no more at that point in my eyes. So which would make the bigger splash? Now we're talking about.
I think Halo might make the biggest splash out.
Halo will make the bigger. Halo will make the
just by name, just because it's synonymous with Xbox, and then you put it on PlayStation. Now it's just.
But then we're just saying that everything going forward that Halo ever is going to end up on PlayStation. There's like, if you're going to put one, that's just like you said before. Once you put one game on, it's hard to like think of a game that you wouldn't put on there. Now, I always say Halo could be that game because it's just so sacred to that system, unless they just don't make systems no more.
I don't think they care about nostalgia. They do not care about none of the Xbox community's feelings. They do not care. They care about money and making money.
You put Halo over there, you're going to definitely make some money. It's gonna be the best. It'll be the best shooter on their platform, hands down. a game from 2013 will be the best shooter on PlayStation.
I don't think it will sell
like Call of Duty.
I think it will sell. I think it will sell to the hardcore community who will want to play it on the PlayStation just cause. But as far as like younger generations, I don't think they care about Halo.
They don't even know what Halo is, I don't think.
For the most part. I mean, they know who the Master Chief is, and they may know the TV show like that, but that's their dad's shooter. And
there's a lot of dads out there that still play on PlayStation though.
And I said they'll get it just because it's weird to play Halo on PlayStation. But I think there is a larger audience that's on PlayStation that just don't care about that. And if it had a battle royale, if they didn't cancel the battle royale, and that still came out as a completely separate thing, I think, and then they made that multi-platform, that will probably blow up on PlayStation. I think, but it's done. That's done. So okay. So there's making smart money, and then there's making, I feel like, dumb money. At a certain point, yes, you will sell a lot of. Well, I can't even say software. I don't even know what you sell. You'll sell software, yeah.
No, they will sell software. It will sell. The game will sell. How much it will sell, I don't know. But is it worth it? I mean, in your eyes, it ain't worth to do any of this. I already know your
No,
answer to that.
but it's
like
we're already past that point.
Devalued your console by doing
Yeah,
that.
I've been said the time you put one of your first party games over there, it's too late. Because now everyone's going to always ask that question: is this one going?
But is there
games
a bridge
that
too far,
they're interested in?
But is it there is a bridge too far? They haven't like we can sit here and say once you put one, it's a good chance that all of it's coming.
No, it is all coming. Like I'm not trying to mince words with people no more. Like you can live in La La Land if you want. It's all going.
So
it's all multiply everything.
Oh man. I don't want to live in that world.
Hellblade 2 is going over there too.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling that's going. I just like I said, I think I'm with you, but like
it's just a matter of time.
My preference, like I said, I'm with you. I think everything's going too. I just have a preference where I feel like you need to hold one thing close to your heart, and it needs to be Halo. And if you're not going to hold that, then why you're only making a console just so you can what at what point? It's like, why would I buy? Why would they would have to come up with some amazing value and some amazing feature for you to chalk out 3, 4, 5. I mean, even if they did the handheld, I mean, the handheld might be a little bit different because that would kind of be something that a lot of people would like buy to be on the go to play Xbox games. But there would have to be some type of intrinsic value to buy an Xbox or any Xbox console, like home console,
Forte.
if you put everything somewhere else.
Forte.
What is
they are working on the Xbox OS. They're gonna license. They're gonna license that mother out to everybody.
Yeah, they just gonna let other people make the hardware.
They don't care.
Yeah.
This is the same company that made their bones in Windows and the operating system. They want to
be a software company.
They are a software company. It's what they do.
That's their core competency.
Yeah, and they just spent $80 billion on ABK. And now software. the people who don't know jack about gaming are now in these conversations, and they got more sway than Phil Spencer and company.
That's true. I agree with that.
So they out here and they're getting their way, and their way is put it everywhere. They don't get it. They don't get why it's important to build a brand. They don't understand. This is entertainment. It's not productivity. You know, like people don't buy Microsoft Office because they love Office. You know, like they don't have I remember the first time I ever opened up an Excel spreadsheet. It was fantastic. No one freaking cares. Yeah. People hate Windows. But why do they use it? Because it's what their job says they gotta use. They make their bones in cloud off of contracting with the government. That's not about having an awesome I mean, it's a good product, but government contracting is a lot about who got the bottom dollar, who got the lowest bid.
True.
So none of this stuff has anything to do with entertainment. They made their bones in productivity and getting people tech that they needed. But whenever it's come to entertainment or anything remotely close to entertainment, they fail.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom, fail. Windows Phone, fail. I mean, we can go on. They don't understand it. They don't understand how to build a brand where it doesn't make sense in the ones and zeros, and it doesn't make sense in why people choose it. It doesn't, especially when you're not providing the things. Sony ain't perfect, even though their fanboys would tell you they are. They not. Them fanboys need to get off their knees. get some lotion them things up. They've been on their knees for a long time. Get up and realize the truth of the matter. Sony's not perfect either.
Mm-hmm.
But who got the stronger brand? Who's got the better, well-known brand across the world? So when they screw up, people don't make a big deal about it. Their last showcase was garbage. Mm-hmm. And people are still like, well, maybe they'll come out with another showcase, soon. And maybe they will come out with a showcase next month. But if they don't come out with a showcase next month, what are you going to do? You ain't doing nothing. You're still going to have your PS5. And you're still going to be playing Call of Duty on it. And you're still going to not care. Mm-hmm. And you're going to keep it moving. They understand their market and they understand where their brand is in the market right now. This is why Nintendo sells people cardboard and they go crazy for it. Because you're a Nintendo. And you can do that. Xbox is not a popular brand. And so, sorry, you can't do those things. Mm-hmm. Sorry, they're going to treat you differently. You need to be better. And you need to understand how to market your product to build your brand up. They never have taken the time to learn those things. Mm-hmm. They want to sell in a country and then sell the game in English when a country speaks a completely different language. Oh man, I gotta localize this for the all right. And you do a trash job at it. And so what do they think about Xbox? You're synonymous with piss poor efforts. Even though that game and all you do all the quality things for that game in different hemispheres. If it's English and Spanish, it's great, it's fine. If it's in Korean, good luck. Mm-hmm. And it's just like when you want to launch in Japan and you don't want to launch in Japan with no games that Japanese gamers want to play. So why are they buying it? Even if you were a Japanese gamer who wanted an Xbox, just because you're just like one of those kind of gamers that just like to collect everything. How do you find one? When people go into the stores where they buy PlayStation and Nintendos, they can't find the aisle where your Xbox is. They gotta be a freaking archaeologist out here in the store to find anything green that's Xbox. Think I'm joking? Go look up the YouTube videos of Japanese gamers trying to find Xboxes. They're out there. So when you don't put the effort in and you don't do the basic things, these aren't like, I'm about to really start getting on my soapbox. The basic things that is necessary to sell your product in different regions, of course you're going to fail. And it's not because they hate you, it's because you don't put the work in. When you have people that work for you who don't care about the brand, when you have employees who don't care about Xbox whatsoever, and they go home and they play PlayStation, are you shocked? This is the culture that you promoted. They don't care. Your own employees don't care about how your brand does. So why should anyone else? I mean, I interned at I attempted to intern at Under Armour. I didn't get it. But I was in college. I wanted to work at Under Armour. I was told, given a heads up on my in-person interview, hey, SloMo, they told you to just dress the way you always dress. Don't come in with a suit and tie, because that's not how you're going to work. I said, all right, that's bad. I can do that. But they were just like, it's a trap in that too. The trap in that is that you show up wearing some Nikes, you ain't getting the job. Yeah. I'm like, oh. Yeah, that's how Under Armour is. Not only do they want you to know the history of the company and be passionate about the products that they make, they hate the competition so much. Don't you dare walk in their facility wearing some Nikes. I showed up, their headquarters back then, I don't know if it's moved, but their headquarters back then was like on the Baltimore waterfront. Beautiful facility, beautiful. What? I was wearing Under Armour shoes, wearing an Under Armour shirt. Tried to memorize all the stuff I tried to memorize about the history of the company the night before. But you know, that's a level of passion for the job and for the product that you put out there. They want people who are down for Under Armour. Why? You think there's PlayStation executives that's all like, yeah, I love my Xbox. Let me go post on my timeline this Xbox game I'm playing. Yeah. No. Them dudes are competing with one another. It's just, they don't know. They don't know how to build this stuff up. And I think culture wise, I know some people feel like there's no way Phil knows that like this is how his division is, but I don't see how you don't know. Like, you talk to the people that you work with, and you know, look, I talk to my colleagues all the time, and we talk about whatever, and we talk about, you know, what we do in our own free time. I know the guys on my team. I know the guy that likes to go fishing. I know the dude that likes to, you know, like travel all over the world. You tell me you don't know what your employees really like in gaming? You think you can't tell? When you got employees that can't even tell you what Ninja Theory's name is? Couldn't even get the name right of the game that launched this year, the only first party game you've launched so far this year? You think you can't tell easily that these people don't play Xbox games? I think it's pretty freaking obvious. Whatever. All right. We can get up out of here. Anything else you want to say, man?
No, I was just listening to you. When you said I'm about to get on the box.
Because I'm just like, I and I'm not joking.
I know you're not.
It's legit. These people don't even play. Legit. They don't even play. Why the freak would I play it if you don't play it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody play it if you don't even play your own product?
Mm-hmm.
What's the purpose then? Why are you even trying? You don't even like it.
Wow.
Why you got Xbox fans, hardcore fans, really passionate about the platform, making better marketing
I knew you was gonna say
for
that.
your platform than your marketing people.
Yeah. They make sizzle reels for your games look better than the game itself.
But they don't want to hire them guys because they're fanboys.
Because they're fanboys.
But how are you a fanboy if you work there? You should be a fanboy if you work there. You should be proud of the stuff y'all doing. You should have that kind of mentality for the stuff you do. Why are you hiring people who not fanboys? That should be a part of your criteria of hiring people. You are qualified for the job because you have the skill set, but also you love what we do here. Here's another story, anecdotal thing, but when Amazon opened a second headquarters in my area, I applied and Amazon made it to like I made it all the way to the, I basically turned down the job just because I didn't really like the Amazon way. But they wanted people who were down for the Amazon way. I don't like the Amazon way because the Amazon way sounds dumb to me. It's essentially, yes, this is the way everyone else does this and then we know it works, but we want to do it differently because we're Amazon. I'm sorry, that's stupid to me. So I said, I'm not really down with that. I'm not working here, but they still want people who are down for that kind of thing. That was a major part of the final interview. Understanding the Amazon way and being cool with that. And I get it. It's like, even though I'm not down for it and I said no to the job, I get it though. It makes sense. You want people who are all on the same page. You want people who want to do it all the same way, even if it's the wrong way to some people. Why is that not part of your criteria? Why don't you want to hire someone? Look, freaking Forte works at GameStop. He's an Xbox fan. His store is booming. He's selling like crazy. If he applied at Microsoft, him saying he's an Xbox fan would be a negative or something.
Yeah, probably so.
That's stupid. You got somebody who's good at retail, good at selling things, who could be working in a certain capacity at your company that could understands the gamer because he is one, understands the community because he's part of it, and wouldn't have you guys being shocked that when the community gives you backlash on certain decisions that you make. Well, of course you were shocked because ain't none of y'all involved in the community enough to understand why they feel the way they feel, nor do you play the games to know these things.
Well, you know how it is. Most of the people at Xbox have, like a lot of the decision makers, 20 plus years, 30 plus years, been there since the 90s and the 80s. And it's even worse now because the people making the decisions at Xbox or making the decisions for Microsoft over Xbox, them people, they've been there 30, 40 plus years. So all they are used to seeing is revenue going up, profitability going up, and services over the course, especially over the course of the last 15, 20 years, being the mainstay of what Microsoft is. So, and that's the leadership that we have right now overseeing Xbox, because Xbox isn't running Xbox no more. Yeah. It's Microsoft running Xbox now. So
and I think in the whole future for them is just like, I know they're working on like a handheld device and potentially like from what, you know, shout out to Jess Gordon for providing this information, a traditional console with a handheld as accessory. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm discouraged with how they've been doing things, because I look at the launch of xCloud on Fire Stick and how people were, you know, the reaction was very mixed. I look at how things are right now on the Xbox PC app, which is the worst launcher. Yet again, we'll talk about this again, the worst launcher on PC. I look at how they got games missing their platform on the Xbox console, Myth Wukong, you know, Capcom games, and it's really all, you know, for various reasons, you know, clearly Myth Wukong ain't ready, but they somehow decided to make sure they got that PS5 version ready, but not the Xbox version. Capcom got issues with their old engine and optimizing it for Xbox. Maybe if Xbox was doing better and they could rely on more sales from Xbox, they would have felt it was important to make sure that game engine worked on the platform instead of just skipping it because it's not worth it to them. These are things that when it all comes down to it, what's the purpose of being everywhere if the experience isn't the top of the class anywhere? I'm gonna repeat that. What is the purpose of being everywhere? Because they say they want to hit like billions of gamers. They want to be everywhere everyone else is. We want to be on mobile. We want to be on PC. We want to be on every console that's out there. We want to be on literally everything, cloud, all that stuff. Okay, what's the purpose of being everywhere if the experience is not the best in any of those places? In cloud, you're getting dog walked by GeForce Now and Luna. On PC, Steam is king. In consoles, both Nintendo and Sony slapping you around. There's no purpose in being everywhere and stretching yourself this thin if you can't make the experience top notch in the places that you're going to be. You might as well be in one place, because at least the experience is going to be best there. But if all you care about is just getting as much money as possible and screw the Xbox brand, all right then, that's what you want to do. But yeah. Anything else, man? Before we wrap this up?
I got one question for you. I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. Console market. Do you think it's dying? Do you think it's shrinking? Do you think it's growing? What do you think?
I think it's slowly growing, and that's based off of data. It's not shrinking. It's a little stagnant, but it's slowly growing. The thing is that it's not growing at the pace that mobile and PC grow, and so people act as if it's dead or it's dying, and it's not. That's not the case. And I think a little bit of it. And look, I respect the people who feel this way, but I think a lot of it is projection based upon what's going on with Xbox. Nintendo is about to, people want to pick and choose when Nintendo consoles are relevant to the story, but I'm sorry, they're always relevant. They were, you wanted them to be relevant when the FTC tried to exclude them from the ABK hearings. Were they going to be relevant today when we're talking about consoles? And they are shortly going to become the most sold console in the history of the video game market. But people want you to believe that consoles are dying. How? The PlayStation 5, despite their last quarter being double-digit percentages down from the previous quarter, but the previous year they sold 20 million consoles, which is the most PlayStations they've ever sold in 1 year. Of course, they didn't keep up to the same clip. And currently, they're beating the PlayStation 4, which is so great. And so what if they're just selling to the same people? We're good. You're doing something right. The people who like consoles still want to buy consoles. Congratulations. I mean, I don't see what the problem is here. I have a graphic. Shout out to Game Logic, who provided this data. There's this theory that consoles are for the old heads, that the young kids now don't care about consoles. They just care about tablets and handhelds. They don't want to play on, and I think a lot of that's anecdotal. I think, we definitely will have family members and kids who feel that way, right? But the data shows differently. And the data that I've seen says that Gen Z and Gen Alpha, a higher percentage of them are playing on consoles and PC than every other generation. More than Gen X, more than boomers, more than everybody else. So unless you got data to show otherwise, sorry, I don't believe you. I think the console market is fine. It's just not going to grow to the degree that you see with mobile. But mobile gamers are very different, and they play games that are very different. This is the reason why Apple tried to put Resident Evil 4 Remake, a high quality game, on their iPhone, and it sold nothing. It sold double cotton balls. Double lint is what it sold. Sold nothing. Mobile gamers don't care about those kind of experiences.
So I guess the thing that I'll say, because I agree with you. I do think it's fine. It's stagnant, but it's not dying or anything. But I will ask you this. Do you think the next Nintendo system will beat the sales of the Switch?
Probably not.
What do you think the PlayStation 5 will ultimately outsell the PS4?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
Now,
it's really hard for Nintendo to beat the most sold console ever. That's why I said probably, but my probably not doesn't mean Nintendo is going to. It's the next. I like to call it the Super Nintendo Switch because I hope that's the name of it.
I hope
But
that's the name of it because that's a cool name.
right. But I'm not saying the Super Nintendo Switch is going to sell like the Wii U. But I'm just saying I don't see it selling more than the most sold console ever. So
right.
Yeah.
But you see PlayStation 5 topping the 130, like 120, 125 mark.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're at like 61 million right now.
61 million.
And they got like, and they're halfway through the generation for them. They're not going to launch the PS6 until 2027 at the earliest. And so they got 3 years.
And this is where it comes back to your notion of a lot of people are kind of using the downtrend of Xbox, because I guarantee you probably don't think Xbox is going to sell more than the 50 million that supposedly they sold last generation.
Say that again, couldn't hear you.
I said, do you think Xbox is like, it's rumored that they sold 50 million, like around 50 million
for the Xbox One? Yeah.
Do we think they're going to come
that's
close
accurate.
to that number?
No, for Xbox Series, I don't think they're going to sell that. Okay. They're behind, and they are not doing anything to get them to catch up. So I don't think I think they've given up on that being a possibility, and they don't care right now.
You're more bullish on PlayStation than I am. I'm not saying they're not going to pass that number. I'm just saying that every year or every day, no, I'll probably say every year, they're losing more and more people to PC because more and more people are switching over to PC, and they're going to, and in my opinion, I feel like people are going to build that callous to, if it's not especially if they're not just a PlayStation gamer, like when I mean PlayStation gamer, like not the fact that you just bought a PlayStation because you play Call of Duty and stuff on it, because you can play Call of Duty anywhere with your friends now, or Madden or anything like that. Right. You're a PlayStation gamer because you buy the system for the first party. You buy it for the exclusive games that you can only get on that system. Those are the PlayStation gamers. We all know 75 to 80% of the player base that's on PlayStation, they opposites of that. They over there either because of it's just the name, the brand name. 2, because their friends are over there. Or 3, their ecosystem is just, they have especially now since we're in this part of the ecosystem where your digital library games do count, you don't want to kind of leave that stuff behind. And I think that's probably the bigger part of it. That's why I think a good 60 to 70% will stay, but I can see 10% of that falling off over the course of the generation, because, the more and more games that, like you said, the more and more games that PlayStation puts on PC, are you going to go out and buy the next PlayStation knowing that those games are going to ultimately make them way over there? Especially if you're not the type of person that's going to play those games day one anyways, and you're just going to play the third party stuff. So I do think that they're going to come close to that number. So I understand how some people feel like the console market is dying. I won't say it's dying. I'll say that it's really, really interesting to see how much PC takes away from the console market over the next 5 to 10 years. Because I think consoles will always have a place, meaning they'll always make them. Somebody will always make them, because there's people that will always want to just dabble in that ecosystem. But every year there's more and more people, coming across the line to the dark side, as we like to call it. And
I got two things.
That's a good thing. Yeah,
I got 2 things for that.
Yeah.
I think there are console gamers that never want to go to PC.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
And I think a lot of their mentality on that is based upon information that's very outdated. Things about PC that were true years ago, but then also you see, and this is no shade to this gentleman, but Doc Dark, who tried PC. I think you can still pretty much consider him a PC gamer. I don't think he's given up on it completely, but you know, he has some frustrations with the platform and the way things that PC are, like when you want to play certain games and things don't work out that great. But you know, I feel like console gamers have very selective memory, so they remember all the times where someone had to make some changes to optimize their experience on PC, and I don't mind that, because I want the best experience possible, but some people don't, and that's okay. But then they'll forget when, say, like Lord Cognito tried to play Outriders on Xbox and couldn't play for a full month because for whatever reason, technical reason, on a console, he wasn't able to log in. They'll forget when Control was shutting down PlayStations. They'll forget when Returnal was shutting down PlayStations. Console games. And so, and if you know, you talk to a console gamer, they'll say, well, that with slow mo, that's a very, like, those are very niche, you know, minor occurrences. All the things they bring up about PC are minor occurrences. So what's the difference? So all that stuff is still overblown, yet they still have this mentality that PC is like we're telling you to build your PC yourself. We're telling you to build your own GPU. You know what I'm saying? Like they and I love this guy. I love these guys. But, you know, I see the same usual suspects. Fear-mongering PC gaming and saying complete lies about it. Oh, you gotta update your RAM. Like, who updates their RAM more than once in, like, on the one particular PC more than once in the entire lifetime of that PC being used? People choose to upgrade their GPU just because they want the very best, but what they're upgrading from is probably still better than your console. So it's not like you're upgrading your GPU every year. You need to. Less than 1% of the PC gamers upgrade their GPU every year. So, like, all you gotta do firmware updates for every game. No, you don't. All these things are fake. But people believe this stuff because they listen to certain people who push that kind of agenda. So I say that because, you know, that's just the reality of it. So that you're gonna have console gamers who, even though they may, if they gave it a shot, they probably would love it, who won't do that. Now, the other part of it, when it comes to the reason why I don't think that the migration to PC is really going to be what some people believe it would be, is that the games that people most play, and this is where I kind of get into, like, you know, a lot of these console guys be capping for games that, like, not a lot of people care about. Look at the top 10 games. Like, Matt Piscatella is now on a weekly basis showing everyone what the active users are on a weekly basis on all the major platforms. It's all the same game. Well, a lot of those games are all the same games that you see in Steam. The ones that aren't in or show up on Steam that don't show up on the other, you know, pages are games that just, like, the PC community cares for more. But some of them are exclusive games to PC, like Counter-Strike 2, Once Human, Team Fortress 2. You know, those games are, you'll see them in the top 10 on Steam. Fortnite's not in there because Fortnite's not in Steam, but if Fortnite was on Steam, it would be number one, like, every week like it's number one, number two on PlayStation and Xbox, but you play all the same games. The majority of the console gamers are playing the exact same games they're playing on PC. So unless you just want the better performance, what are you switching over for? And yeah, I and a lot of hardcore gamers will buy consoles and other, you know, for exclusive titles, unique experiences, but that ain't everybody. Clearly. Because those unique experiences don't stick around on the weekly and monthly active users list on PlayStation.
That's true.
I'm looking at the week ending of July 20th right now. Here are the games that were the top 10 games on PlayStation that week. Call of Duty HQ. Is that exclusive? No. Fortnite. Is that exclusive? No. Grand Theft Auto 5. Is that exclusive? No. EA College Sports Football 25. Exclusive? No. NBA 2K 24. Exclusive? No. Roblox? No. First Ascendant? No. Madden? No. Minecraft? No. Elden Ring? No. And when they do drop first party games, they be up there, but not for long. So if that's what the majority of PlayStation gamers is playing, why do they need to go to PC to play that? I don't think it's going to change much. If you're a console gamer, you're a console dude. You're going to play the same games I'm playing. You're just going to play them on PlayStation and Xbox. we play Call of Duty with Taz. Taz eventually going to get a PC. I believe it. But honestly, I think just Taz eventually going to get a PC because Taz got money like that.
Yeah.
And he just going to want to just get it just to try it. But Taz is largely content to play Call of Duty with us on Xbox. He don't even be putting on 120 frames mode. He be playing at 60. He don't care. I think most console gamers, they just don't care. And so they'll be fine where they are on consoles. I could be wrong though. But I think the console market's fine.
Well, dang, I expected. Oh, you brought some fire there, bro.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yo, it's just because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and people talking about it, and I can see the points that people make about it on both sides. But you know, a lot of people think it's one. The people think, oh no, it's growing really well, and I'm like, yeah, but is it going to outsell these things? Like, I think it's kind of a push to really think that, you know, consoles are going to surpass where they are now. I do think there's a little bit of, like I said, I think the best thing you said is like, yeah, there's some room in there. There's a little room in there, not a lot, but then you also gotta extrapolate that across how many people, and we're not even talking about how many people are leaving because they either just grow up and, you know, find other hobbies and stuff. I mean, the biggest thing we can say is, we don't really know how much the 2 pandemic years really helped these numbers, because how many people bought these consoles that probably weren't going to keep them long, wouldn't have bought them long term if they didn't have, if they had other things to do.
True.
So
would you think last year, 2023, is still a pandemic year? Would you consider that still a pandemic year?
2023, I think honestly, 2023 is the first year that you can consistently, officially say that we were out of the pandemic, like when it comes to like spending and stuff. Well, at least in video games, because when it came to, you know, other like real life things like housing and stuff like that, I mean, I think we're still there because, you know, interest rates and stuff are still sky high, the price of food and everything. So different sectors are still seeing the remnants of the pandemic, but I think there's a lot of, but I think as a society, we're kind of back to a normal baseline. And some baselines got pushed to the limit, like video games, and hit why we saw so many closures of studios, so many layoffs and stuff, because not that the console market shrunk, it just the money that was spent in it was overflowing due to the fact that we had so many more people. We can literally say from 2020 to 2022, maybe partway to 2023, gaming sharply went up because it was truly growing. Gaming grew in 2 years when it came to the console base, because people that would never probably buy a console bought them because they had nothing else to do. It's just interesting to see how the longer tail of that is going to happen over the next couple of years, because we also have data saying that more and more people are buying PCs and upgrading on PC at a higher rate than they ever had before.
True.
So are those people that are leaving consoles, or are they still purchasing consoles and they're just buying PCs, you know, because of other reasons? We already know Xbox is losing people to PC because Xbox is telling you every day that you don't need one and you can play your games on PC. So we already have a direct line of correlation that Xbox is losing, but we just don't know about the other platforms. So I think you eloquently said it's kind of right where it needs to be. We'll see over the course of the next 3 or 4 years how it all pans out. But yeah, that was a good conversation around that. But that's all I had to say about it.
Cool. That was a nice little offshoot discussion. You know, non-topic, but I thought that was pretty nice.
Yes,
hopefully guys in the chat felt the same. We'll get up out of here. Don't want to take too much of you guys' time. Forte, let everyone know what you're doing, especially how you're working on the podcast stuff.
Yep, SloMo's gonna hold my feet to the fire over the next week to get as much of this stuff, and we're gonna make sure that we talk about all this stuff and make sure that we're all set to go very, very soon. But other than that, just basically, I already know what I'm going to be doing, working on this like super hard for the next week because I got to make it up to SloMo. But definitely, we really appreciate you guys, all the love and support. Definitely doesn't go unnoticed. Go check out Alien Romulus if you're an Alien fan. It's really, really cool. I liked it. I loved it. And other than that, you guys have a good day, good night. Enjoy the games you're playing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and for myself, I need to get some of these videos that I'm working on for my channel out. We got a lot of news from Dragon Age: The Veilguard over today and yesterday, and so there's a lot I want to do. I also want to start streaming my replays through those games leading up to Veilguard, and now that we got the release date, which is October 31st, I know exactly how much time I have to do that. So if you want to see streams on that, check out my YouTube channel where I'll be going live on that. I'll also be doing some streaming of my grinding in the First Descendant, because I think it's probably beneficial for people who might be struggling in the game, struggling in their farming, and just their understanding in the game, to kind of see my process with it and then we can collaborate on things, on like build crafting and stuff, because I love doing different builds and looters. It's the number one thing I love the most about looter shooters. So so look out for that soon. We out, man. Peace. Oh, by the way, lunchtime with SloMo next Monday, and maybe some streams on this channel too. That's just non-Dragon Age First Descendant related. So all right, I'm out. Peace.
Later. That's nuts.